But before I dive too much into that, let me show you a little bit of credentials around who Avnet is and why I feel like we're qualified to talk a little bit on this topic. So, Avnet is a electronics distributor, as was lined up. Our bread and butter has been for the longest time being able to ship electronic components, and for a while those were kind of boring things like capacitors and resistors, stuff like that. But as time has gone on, we've gotten progressively more into what we would consider to be smart devices, anything that's going to be connected. So you can see from this, we shipped over 283 billion devices. This might actually even be, I think, a little bit outdated, but it's a large number and says that we have the supply chain backing that we need to be able to support really any opportunities as they grow in scale. But one thing that we're particularly proud of recently is all of the acquisitions that we've been able to make within that technology space. So as I mentioned before, bread and butter has been electronic components for a long time, but we've really tried to grow into this new connected technology space. Some of that has been through an acquisition of a company called SoftWeb Solutions, which is where our IoTConnect platform is coming from. And so we're really excited about what we're doing with Maxo. We think that they're a perfect partner for this. You can see all of the different technology that they're bringing, and we think IoTConnect is a great engine through which we're going to be able to bring a lot of these new technologies to mass market. So with that, let me talk a little bit about IoTConnect. One of the things that really becomes important when you're building an IoT solution is going very quickly. You want to be able to truly fail fast. And I know that's such a buzzword, but as Philip had mentioned earlier, when you're kind of doing connection of devices, you need to be able to learn very quickly and adjust as you go. You don't want to spend a lot of time creating a user template, or how do I be able to onboard devices? How can I even be able to tell if that connection process is working? And that's where IoTConnect is going to come in. So what the goal of IoTConnect is to take things like connected soap dispensers or industrial gateways and be able to streamline the process through which we bring out those business insights. So things like, hey, how often is that soap dispenser being used? Should we be able to go in and send a maintenance person to potentially adjust it? If we don't have to send them, then that's a nice thing. We don't have to have maybe as much staff. We can start to try to automate that. Additionally, you could look at predictive maintenance. Could we be able to go in and try to work on that gateway quicker to make sure that that line doesn't go down? And the way that we are doing this is through a single pane experience, a single pane of glass web experience that's built on AWS. So we take all of the needed services, things like Amazon QuickSight or S3, Greengrass, IoT Core, and we pull them into one common ecosystem that's going to be IoT Connect. So you're not having to recreate any of those functions. You just use IoT Connect once, and you can lift and shift to as many things as you might need to. So I'm going to jump into what this looks like in the real world. So this is the IoTConnect platform. And I'm going to just kind of briefly touch on a few features. Obviously, there's a whole lot more that we can do with this, but let's just try to take a look at some really unique things that we think we can bring. First is we have you just kind of drop into a base dashboard, and we've tried to provide you a kind of user interface that might be helpful. But maybe you're trying to do a lot more with particular location tracking, or this isn't exactly what you need. We do have a quick dynamic dashboard feature that you can be able to go in. So I'm going to name this the very unique new dash as I go in and create it. And then I have the ability to just pull in different widgets after this gets created to be able to drag onto the canvas. So in this case, that once that dashboard's created, I can go in and bring in things like a device tracker that will have a map to be able to show location of where these devices are. I could be able to pull in things like an image if I need to show a user, or a pie chart. I have the ability to set a user counter. All these different things are just available, and you can use it really as a drag and drop model to be able to get exactly what you need to then show a customer or show a technology very quickly. Once I'm happy with that, I can then go in and quickly save that device. And now this can be either exported, so I can be able to re-upload it, or I can be able to go ahead and share this link without requiring an IoTConnect login. And so one of the features that we've really tried to highlight here is we want to go fast. We want to be the quickest way to connect to the cloud. We want to make it so that your dashboard is able to pull those details immediately, and you can be able to start showcasing a technology very rapidly. Additionally, we do have the ability to create different entities. So this allows us to be able to do segmentation by location. And one of the beauties of that, as you can see here, is I've already gone in, if I have factories and say, Denver, Paris, and New York, I can go ahead and segment those devices. I don't have to recreate the wheel on that in all three locations. I can just segment them. I can choose whether they want to be able to see each other's data, or I can segment them so that they are blocked and I can only see the data that I need to. After I've set up the locations that I want to, I then can go in and set up device templates. And what this allows me to do is set the parameters through which we're going to track different sensors. So we talked a lot about all the sensors that'll be captured today, all the data that we're capturing. We can then go in and set up those device templates to see those different sensors. So in this case, I've set up this demo device template. And I'm tracking three different attributes for this. So I've set up a temperature check, which is going to be an integer, a humidity, which is a decimal, and then a tamper check to see if someone's opened the device, and that's going to be a Boolean function. And once I've created a device to that, which you will see this demo device one that has been set to that device template, I can then do some really interesting things. So in this case, I do have the ability to go ahead and turn a simulator on for that. So I can say, okay, for the next 5 minutes or so, I'd like you to go ahead and run and create fake temperature signals so I can be able to start developing. I may not even have the board in front of me and I can start creating immediately using IoTConnect. Once that device is up and running and I'm starting to see different data that's coming through, I can then do things like smart rules. And this is where it gets really cool. So in this case, you'll see I have this demo device template for that device that I just created. And I can go in and set rules on different attributes to say if a particular threshold has been hit. So in this case, if temperature is greater than 50, that may be hot or cold, depending on what temperature grade you're using, you will then trigger some actions. And that could be things like shutting down the device if it's particularly problematic. Or I could send an email to everyone who's been a part of that. You can see I can even change the body format of the email. I can do things like webhook or hit a UI notification. Really, the possibilities are endless there. And so what you're seeing is that we're able to take a device that I didn't have in front of me a second ago and a template, a dashboard that I didn't have in front of me. And now I'm at a potential where I could start looking at if this potentially was over threshold, or we do have the ability to do smart rules. So if the temperature and humidity do something, then I can start triggering effects. So we're going from the notifications from those sensors, the data that's coming in, to an application and business results in a very quick manner. To combine this really here at the end and kind of my last piece I just want to talk out, we do have the ability to then also push model updates to those devices. So we see this partnership with Maxo. These guys are going in, they're developing technology, they're training models that will set the future of how devices are going to be able to track and be able to use sensor data to create real notifications like the pig tracking, like the fall detection. We want to be able to match that side by side by creating a super quick ecosystem to get a device connected. I will tell you just as a last sign off note that we've done this with a ton of different sensor technologies, a ton of different board technologies. We see all of these as things that you could set up within minutes. So we're very excited about the product and we look forward to being able to showcase it more, hopefully in the future. But just a quick thanks again to Maxo, and I'm going to hand it back to Saba.